let's talk about the national championship, which will be played on Monday night in Houston. That is number 2 Washington versus number 1 Michigan, and I am fired up. We got 14-0 versus 14-0. We have an outstanding quarterback in Michael Penix Jr., who reminds me so much of Omar Little, but also is cold-blooded for continue to wear that do-rag out in public. I really, really love that about him. Hey, the wave's got to be cooking. On the other side, we got a dude in Blake Corum whose chain is hanging low, who absolutely broke the Michigan school record for rushing TDs in a season when he was mugging at the camera as they tore apart Alabama in overtime, running the football, playing outstanding, and what is going to happen with Jim Harbaugh. But first, let's talk about what it's going to take for either one of these teams to win the national championship and who I think is going to win the national championship. Now, let's do it this way. Let's say I did not expect Michigan to be able to get to Jalen Milroe. I did not expect Michigan to be able to sack Jalen Milroe 6 times and 5 times in the first half. And if you watch the film on us, and I did, all 5 sacks came on the only 5 blitzes that Jesse Minter chose to run at Milroe. They had also picked up on the thing that I've been saying about Milroe all year. Love that man, but he holds the ball for too damn long. Same thing is true of one Jalen Hurts. Perhaps he'll grow out of that. But Michigan said in the interim, in the present, if you're going to hold that ball, you're going to eat it. And even when he got time to throw, he didn't throw the ball very well. And his best receiver, Isaiah Bond, had just 1 catch all night. Outstanding job by that Jesse Minter defense. Outstanding job by those guys on the outside, including Will Johnson and Mike Sanders still inside. And then linebacker play from Michael Barrett Jr. Colson was otherworldly. But that pass rush being able to get home was a big deal. I think that pass rush is going to absolutely have to get home if Michigan expects to beat Washington in the national championship game. On the other side of that, I'm also looking at it and I'm going, doggone, man. If you know that this is the pass rush that Michigan can pull out against a program like Alabama, what could they do against Washington? Another thing that they got to do, if you're Michigan, is absolutely run the football. That's who they are, though, right? And I thought it was really fun to see Blake Corum continue to get touches and to build and build as that offensive line was able to do, well, what we thought that Michigan offensive line was able to do all year, which is wear people out, get into the 3rd and 4th quarter, and then sit on people. But they also proved they have the moxie to come from behind, which is something that we had not seen them do all year because Michigan had never been behind in the second half of any football game in 2023. They need to go 75 yards down the field in a gotta-have-it moment. They go for it inside their own 50 on 4th down. They go get 7, and the momentum seems to be on their side. Nick Saban basically admitting that he did not want to play the rest of the regulation, wanted to take this thing in the overtime, thought they would have a shot. Michigan answered the bell on both sides of the ball. They ran the ball with authority. They knew where they were going to give the ball to that dude wearing number 2 on his chest. And then on 4th and 3 at the goal line, you know that they want to run Jalen Milroe. You stack up that gap. You don't allow them to penetrate. You bring him down before he can get to the goal line. Just an outstanding Michigan football game, frankly. It is old school in the way that I think even Nick Saban would love to see football be played all over the country. Like that Michigan team reminds me of that 2009 Alabama team, that 2011 Alabama team, where we're going to play stifling defense and we're going to run the ball. We're going to sit on your chest. We don't need to throw the ball all over the yard. But you know what? When they did have to, J.J. McCarthy showed that he can be that guy. He is absolutely living up to his billing as a 5-star quarterback for the Michigan Wolverines, right? Now, I think if you put JJ in a different system, he probably throws for a ton more yards and gets a ton more opportunities. But that's not what they do at Michigan. They want to run the football. They want to go play action. And they want to give him the ability to make plays on the perimeter, given opportunities where, you know, they're not going to, say, commit a linebacker to spy him, or you just lose contain. Having that guy be able to really run away from people has changed the way that we get to view this Michigan offense. Matter of fact, I think this Michigan offense, as much as I do want to compare it to 2009 Alabama, 2011 Alabama, also shares some similarities with 2012 San Francisco, because the quarterback as a rushing threat is so important to what they do as a safety valve, right? Now, you also got Donovan Edwards, who was doing some pretty nice things there. Also, that throwback, the former quarterback should have thrown a better ball to his quarterback, but credit to J.J. McCarthy for making that one-handed catch, for turning and making the throw downfield to Roman Wilson, and really to that entire Michigan staff and that roster for showing the wherewithal that they have said they have all year. And as things continue to seem to go against them, they continue to get stronger. Again, it is the best Michigan team that we have seen since 1997, with the best chance, one game left, to win a national championship since that team. I also think that you got to take advantage of this moment if you are Michigan. And taking advantage of this moment means don't go away from what you do well. If you notice what Texas was good at, how they were able to claw back into the game against Washington, you notice that CJ Baxter was able to run the football with some regularity and some authority against that Washington defense. Washington gave up 180 yards on the ground. If you are Sharon Moore, you have to believe that you can go for 200, 250 against that Washington defense. They're 43rd in rushing defense this season, and you'll be able to eat up the clock and keep Michael Penix Jr. and those wide receivers off the field. That's what it's going to take. Now, on the other side of that is you can't muff punts. You can't miss field goals. You're going to have to score every time you have the rock against a Washington offense that is the best one you are going to see all year long. They know how to score. It does not shape them to play from behind. It does not shape them to be in one-score games. Matter of fact, in one-score games, that's winning time for Washington. They go win those. They are 11-0, right? 10-0 against ranked opponents in one-score ball games. So if you give them the ball back at the end, expect them to go get 6 or 7. So you need to score 8 or 9 if you're going to give them the ball back. Otherwise, you got to do everything in your power to try to keep it. Storyline that I'm also watching here is this game is going to be not just Michigan's best chance to win the national championship. It might be Michigan's best chance to win the national championship for the foreseeable future. We're all talking about what Jim Harbaugh may or may not do on Tuesday of next week, even as the national championship game is being played on Monday of next week. But I put it in perspective this way. It's not just that Jim Harbaugh has flirted with going to the NFL every year since 2020. It's that the schedule for Michigan next year is ridiculous, all right? Like, I was on here talking about how Texas got the softer schedule compared to Oklahoma in the SEC, but this is some of Michigan's schedule in 2024. So you got number 2 Washington in the national championship game on January 8th. You've got number 3 Texas on September 7th. You've got number 2 Washington again on October 5th. You've got Oregon, number 8 in the college football playoff selection committee's rankings on November 2nd. Then you got Michigan playing Ohio State, number 7. Maybe they'll fall after the loss to Missouri. We'll talk about that on November 30th. What I'm saying is you got all the smoke coming your way if you are the Michigan Wolverines. If there was ever an opportunity to get out while the getting is good, this might be it. Now, that said, Michigan has looked at schedules and been like, I don't care. Y'all think we don't play nobody in the regular season anyway? Well, that's because you mostly don't. You play Penn State, you play Ohio State, and really nobody else that we continue to think is good, especially in your non-conference. Now, I'll be curious to find out whether or not they decide to keep this Texas game on the schedule, and you better. You bet not duck Texas. But if you do, I'm here for it because I think that game's going to be outstanding and fun, especially if Quinn Ewers decides to come back. Let's talk about what the Huskies have facing them. Now that we are over the trepidation and fear of losing to Texas Huskies fans, I need you to get on the good foot. I need y'all to have a great time watching it purple rain in Houston. You about to get chopped and screwed in Houston, dog. We got the quarterback wearing the do-rag in Meg the Stallion City, in Lil Flip City, okay? And if you Sharon Moore, in Paul Wall and Riff Raff City. You know what I'm saying? We got some Slim Thug happening with the Washington Huskies. Okay, I understand y'all do grunge and y'all do the plaid shirts and the Kurt Cobain thing up there, but I need y'all to come down here and get this chameleon air on, okay? I need you to be thumping in the trunk because that's what you got with these Washington Huskies. These boys know how to go get it, and they are led by that dude wearing number 9. Look, that man is passing for more than 325 yards per game. That man put up 430 pass yards on Texas in a college football playoff semifinal. And that man has led you to a school record 14-0. They have won 21 straight games. Washington is absolutely that squad. And check this, man. It ain't just that Michael Penix Jr. can absolutely sling it. It's that he's got these fighter jets on the outside, all right? He got Romo Dunze. He got Jalen McMillan. He got Jalen Polk. He got Giles Jackson. And if Dylan Johnson is healthy, he got that dude too. That's an 1,100-yard rusher that they got back there. Look here, man. If y'all do this thing where y'all can absolutely go score on Michigan, that might be a wrap, dog. Y'all might be holding up the national championship trophy. And it ain't like you ain't got the head coach to do it, okay? Kalen DeBoer been through it. Come out of Sioux Falls, all that dude has done is win. Like, his record is ridiculous. Winning. And when he got to Washington, first it was, hey, look, who is Kalen DeBoer? We're the University of Washington. And I'm like, hey, look, all that dude has done is win at the lower levels and at Fresno State. And now with Jeff Tedford's blessing, he your dude. And after year one, it was like, oh, I see. And now after year two, they hope that dude don't go nowhere ever. You know what I'm saying? We talking about Kalen DeBoer getting up there with Don James in the whole hierarchy of what it means to be a head coach at the University of Washington. Don James, also the dude that first gave Nick Saban his job at Kent State, goes back deep with the Washington Huskies. I'm also going to add in here that if you can keep Michael Penix Jr. clean, this game goes cleanly for Washington, okay? It's the Joe Moore Award-winning offensive line, and yet people still talk with the slander and write with the libel about what this offensive line can or can't do. They have allowed 11 sacks all year and not a single one against Texas. They keep that man, Michael Penix Jr., clean, okay? Like he in a new suit, clean. That man does not hit the ground with that offensive line protecting him. And you know what? He gets the ball out of his hands. So if Michigan can get home, they will be the first to be able to get home with regularity. Nobody has sacked Michael Penix Jr. more than twice in any game this season, okay? So we're going to find out real quick who's probably going to win this game because it's going to be right there. Offensive line that won the Joe Moore Award last year, right? The offensive line that won the Joe Moore Award this year, and one of the best defenses in football, playing against the best passing attack in football. Very excited about what this game can be. Now, I think that this game reminds me so much of everybody's favorite state championship. Okay, you know how it is in your state. You got one 6A squad that's undefeated, another 6A squad that's undefeated, and they show up together, and it's like, damn, I don't know which one I'm going to bet on. I don't know if I'm going to pick the team that's got the great offense or the team that's got the great defense, and really it's about which style do you trust the most and which one do you like the most, which means that I got to make a pick. And I had been going back and forth the last couple of days on who I would pick to win the national championship. And bear in mind, I was wrong on both accounts of the college football playoff, right? I picked Texas to beat Washington. Picked Alabama to beat Michigan. So if I picked your squad, maybe you are fearful. If I don't pick your squad, maybe you're like, oh, we got this in the bag. RJ ain't been right about the college football playoff all year. 2024, you know what I'm saying? It's 2024. However, I'm going to go with the Washington Huskies to win the national championship. I think that passing attack is one of the best that we have seen in the last 4 years. That includes C.J. Stroud and Ohio State in 2022. I also think that we have a defense that has shown itself credible for Washington, right? It is not the worst defense in the world, kind of like Oklahoma in 2018 or 2019. Just throw that out there. And they can show that they can win in winning time, right? In one-score games, which is what I think this is going to be, Washington has come out ahead and on top. And I doubt that you're going to give the ball back to Michael Penix Jr. with time left on the clock and an opportunity to go win the football game. So that all taken into account, I'm picking Washington to win the college football playoff national championship and to go 15-0. Either way, we'll be here live on Monday night to talk about who won, how they won, what it means for what they won, and then get you set for what's coming in 2024, including a way too early top 25 ranking, which you'll be able to read at foxsports.com later that same night because I've been working on that all bowl season. All right, if you like what you've seen, consider subscribing to the #1 college football show on YouTube, the Fox Sports app, or wherever you get your podcast.